G'day hobbyists, this is just going to be a quick video about painting terrain, and specifically sci-fi city terrain. That's something I've been doing a lot of lately, or this year, and I've gone through quite a learning curve while doing it. Now, the latest thing I did was this landing pad. Now this is Mantic Battlezones plastic kits. It's very nice stuff, very sturdy, and it's actually quite easy to convert, kit bash, and you've got a lot of options building because it's all modular. Anyhow, this this landing pad that I've made, painted that over the last couple of days, and these barriers, these on 45 degree angle barriers, aren't actually glued in, so that way it gives me a bit of options. I can take these out and open up the landing pad for gameplay and such. And even these supports here, they're also not glued in, so can disassemble it and make it easier to transport. But the clips and pegs are so good that it sits quite sturdy without any glue. Now the way I painted this landing pad was fairly simple. I used this black Rust-Oleum spray, and then I went over it with some of the Fang, a bit of Nuln oil wash, and then I just carefully dry brushed with a bit of Fenrisian Grey. I repackaged some of my Citadel paints, as you might have watched some of my previous videos, and it was quite simple. Just use a large brush to get the Fang on, then this actual large dry brush to wash it, and then I use the same brush to dry brush carefully and sort of go back and across along the edges and seams to give you that highlighted on the edge look. Or sometimes you can do little circles to get around the corners and other bits, and even if there's a little bit of dripping or streaking, that doesn't matter that much because that sort of adds a bit of character, texture, look like parts that are a bit worn or aged or stuff on the otherwise flat surfaces. And then I did the whole black and yellow hazard stripes, which took ages and was a real issue. I actually started with a grey base coat on this one, because I knew I was going over it with a darker base colour, and then I was going to wash it. So I started with this Rust-Oleum Grey, and then I went over with what I said. I didn't actually start with black. So going over the grey with XV88, and then, that's XV88, and then going over it with Velour Brown mixed with Uriel Yellow, to sort of layer up the yellow, and about 4 layers of yellow later have a decent finish, as you can see here. And the metal was quite simple: lead belcher, Nuln oil, and then a dry brush or highlight with Runefang steel. And the black was just Chaos Abaddon black with a Dawnstone highlight. But that wasn't the first thing I painted. I painted several other things first. Some core worlds and some industrial zones. Now, the core worlds, I got most of them done just using spray cans, and then I picked out the details and other colours with brushes and such. But this one I did entirely in brushes because it was just one building, not several, which made it a lot easier to spend that time and effort doing. For the core worlds, it was about 6 separate buildings I was making. So I was just using the black for the base, and then I wanted the buildings to be white, so I layered up with spraying a bit of grey on, and what I did there was I spray sort of down and at a 45 degree angle around the building, and that catches the raised areas and makes the top and going down brighter, and it makes it look a bit darker and more shaded towards the base of the building, which sort of mimics real life. But that meant a lot of paint layering, because my next thing was white, same process, which was quite a lot of paint build-up, and a bit of graininess, and I didn't want that. I realized that I could just go white directly over black and still have the same gradual shading effect, and it looked really good, so now I've got all this grey spray that I had to use up, so I used some of it on the landing pad to try and get rid of it. Other thing I learned, so just using spray cans to give you the quick, easy shading and depth on the buildings was, you hold it too far away, the spray paint dries out midair, and you get a really nasty grainy effect. And that happened while I was using some Army Painter Yellow to do some utility sort of scaffolding and crane. And once the paint's on, you can't click your fingers and take it off. So I had to live with that and just make the sort of grainy effect look like weather, and I put some rust and such on and tried to cover it up like that. Still looks pretty good. I whacked it with a few more coats to try and smooth it out. Not a big fan of yellow, if you can't tell from this video. Never have been a big fan of yellow. It's an annoying paint to do, annoying colour to do, much like white, but I've worked out a pretty decent way to do white, and learned a few things from doing yellow just on that landing pad. On the red bits on the landing pad were just a bit of Mechrite red, and then a bit of Evil Sun Scarlet. Red's a bit easier, I guess. So, those were some of the things about painting terrain that I learned. Like, other thing is big brushes. So this is fine for one building or so at a time. You can't do loads of building at once. That's why the core worlds was mostly done with spray, and then I picked out details like blue bits, metal bits, keypads, windows. And the industrial zones, I did have to do those by hand. There was less of them because I made some bigger buildings, and I had to do most of that by dry brushing, for which I used the terrain brush, GW brush, a nice big one, and trying to dry brush with a really big brush is a bit tricky. I had to get a bigger paint tub like this one, and then mix the paint in there, brush it all over, for the base, over the black. So I sort of just heavily and sort of with wetter paint dry brushed corn red over the black base, and then I mixed a bit of Screaming Skull into corn red and dry brushed that over that. And then I picked out the details, doors in the fang, hazard markings, some yellow clips, keypads, metal bits, and it actually turns out very well. You don't have a lot of colours on such a big thing, because your eye is always drawn to the bright parts. So you have a yellow lightning bolt symbol there, some hazard lines there, a blue door on a red building, well, sort of blue-grey door on a red building, and it stands out really nice and gives you the look, it gives you a bit of a good look. And, yeah, that's what I've sort of been doing and learning about painting sci-fi terrain. It's been a lot of fun. The assembly, the choice, the Mantic stuff is really nice. And yeah, I hope any of that is helpful or gives you some inspiration to your own terrain and such. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so here are some pictures of the buildings already painted. You can see the white, the red, a bit of the blue, the entry keypad on some of these. There's a few different designs I did with these Core Worlds boxes. I accidentally had the windows the wrong way, and what I thought were folding doors are actually barriers. I made some posters just in Microsoft Paint and PowerPoint, and then print them off. And so you can see some of that there. Coming up, I got one of the red industrial buildings. I used it as a background for a photo of one of my Forge fathers. So you can see the red that I did and the blue sort of garage door thing. Anyhow, I hope you enjoy and got a bit of inspiration from the video.